Hi, this is Suchadatta, SST teacher, teaching you the 4th chapter of class 9 Geography Climate. Well, what are you wearing today? Is it a cotton cloth or are you wearing a thick jacket? Why are you doing so? May I know? It's just because of climate. And this climate makes a great difference not only in the attire that we wear, but also in our diet, in our surroundings and so many other things. So, this climate actually plays a very vital role in actually giving human beings a different shape. So, let us see about the chapter climate, but before that let us know about various terms and new words. Monsoon. The word monsoon has been derived from an Arabic word called Mausam, which means climate, weather. Next, climate. Climate is the average weather condition of a particular area. Next, continental climate. Continental climate is that climate which is experienced in the interior of the continent, and in this kind of climate it becomes very cold in winters and very hot during summers. The best example of the continental climate is Delhi. Cyclones. I am sure you all have heard about cyclones on the TV news that you see. It is the low pressure at the center and it is in the circular wind motion. And whenever a cyclone comes, you always see that the government announces this for the fishermen. Well, range of temperature. The range of temperature means it is the difference between the maximum and the minimum temperature of a particular place. That makes it the range of temperature. Next, dry spells. Now, when comes the monsoon season, you all are expecting lot of rains, but when there are rainless days for together, that is the time that it is called as the dry spells. Next is the jet streams, very important term. Jet stream is actually a fast flowing air current which moves in the narrow zone of the upper atmosphere. Next is the loo. You all must have experienced your mother saying these days loo is blowing. What is this loo? Loo is in fact hot dry wind which is experienced by the Indians during summer, and it starts in the afternoon and continues till midnight. So, that is actually the weather condition of these summers that we have. Let us study about the more such words which will help us in actually understanding the chapter. Isohet. Isohet is actually an imaginary line which is drawn on the map joining places which have same amount of rainfall. Next is isobar. Isobar again is actually an imaginary line which is drawn on the map having places having same pressure above sea level. Next is isotherm. Isotherm again is an imaginary line which is drawn on the map on the places having same temperature above sea level. So, remember, isohet is connected with rainfall, okay. Isohet, as I said, with rainfall, isobar with the pressure and isotherm with the temperature. So, these are the three that you need to understand. They all are actually an imaginary lines which are drawn on the map. Next is the leeward side. Leeward side is in fact the rain shadow area which lies on the side which is away from the direction of the wind. Next is the maritime climate. You've already seen the continental climate, now is the maritime climate. Maritime climate is experienced by the coastal areas. It is cool in summers and it experiences mild winters. The best example that I can give of maritime climate is Bombay. Next is windward. Windward is the slopes which face the wind direction and they receive very heavy rainfall. Breaking of monsoon. Now, how does monsoon actually arrive? You all must have experienced this, but this is the word that is given to it, the breaking of the monsoon. It is when there is a sudden approach of moist laden winds and accompanied by violent thunder and lightning. Don't you hear sometimes lot of thunder, lightning, and immediately after that it starts pouring? That is actually the breaking of the monsoon, the coming of the monsoon, the onset of the monsoon. Monsoon trough is the next word. It is in fact an intense low pressure area which extends from Thar desert to the Chota Nagpur plateau. Next is the transitional period. The transitional period is actually the period between two seasons. That is when one season is actually coming to an end and the other season is yet to start. So, the season in between is called as the transitional period. Next, vagaries of the monsoon. The uncertainties of the monsoon. It might rain and rain continuously or it might not rain at all. And what are those days called as? When it doesn't rain at all for days together in the monsoon. I told you in the last clipping, dry spells. Next, trade winds. Trade winds are in fact the easterly winds which blow from subtropical high pressure area or belt to equatorial low pressure belt. Next, the mango showers. Mango showers are in fact the pre-monsoon showers which help in the ripening of the mangoes, and it actually occurs in the state of Kerala and Karnataka. Meteorologist. A meteorologist is a person who studies the weather, climate and the components which affect them. Next is humidity. The water vapor present in the atmosphere is called as the humidity. So, after rain, generally what do the people say? It's very humid today. Next, precipitation. Precipitation is the depositing of moisture from the atmosphere into the earth's surface. So, these were all the new terms and the words which you needed to understand before I start with the chapter climate. Now, in the next clipping, let's try and understand the difference between the term climate and weather.